Blumhouse, a name that is synonymous with horror in the modern age, is back again with yet a new experiment that they are doing over on Amazon Prime called Welcome to Blumhouse. I'm going to give my thoughts about this experiment, some of the four films that were released. What do I think about them? What do I want to see going forward with this series? My hopes and dreams on Welcome to Blumhouse. So Blumhouse is just a name synonymous with horror nowadays. It used to be maybe a couple of years ago, you used to say like Platinum Dunes, you used to say maybe, well, not really Sony releases because they're always awful. And nowadays you say stuff like A24, you say IFC Midnight, you say Blumhouse, which is usually a theater release based company that releases movies kind of with a small budget that have sort of a really good horror element to it for the most part. I mean, when you look at stuff like The Purge, obviously that is a huge hit for the company. When you look at just some of the releases they've done just recently, The Invisible Man, which most people loved, you had The Hunt, you had Ma, you had Us, you had Halloween they were behind as well. It's just a long list of horror movies. Obviously, Blumhouse likes to keep experimenting and they like to keep pushing the envelope forward. So, unlike what they've done already with Hulu and Into the Dark series, if you've never heard of that, Blumhouse is behind that. It's sort of a horror anthology that's based around a central holiday. So every episode is based around one single holiday. And now with Amazon Prime, they kind of jumped shark. They jumped to another studio because normally they release stuff with Universal Pictures. It's kind of like their main audience. But now they are with Amazon Studios to do Welcome to Blumhouse, which is a new experiment they are doing this year. Essentially what it is that you have movies that are not quite there for theater releases, but they are from up and coming new kind of writers, directors. And this is kind of Blumhouse doing a way of shining the spotlight on these people and kind of just giving them exposure and kind of getting them set up for bigger things down the road. So with Welcome to Blumhouse, you have basically 4 releases. So they did 2 releases at a time. And right now they're all streaming on Amazon Prime if you have that. So we have Evil Eye, we have Black Box, we have The Lie and Nocturne. And I just have seen all 4 releases. And I'm excited to say most of these releases were really good for the most part. I mean, there's only one of the 4 that I would say you can skip. And no offense to that one. But all of them are shot really well. The writing on these movies is really good. It's not like some rubbish that you would see from VOD releases nowadays. Like, these are quality made films. And what I do love is the fact that Blumhouse is behind this, but none of these releases seem like a Blumhouse release. They don't seem, and no offense to Jason Blum and all the filmmakers who have made movies with Blumhouse before, they don't seem cheapish in a way. They seem like high quality made stuff, like stuff you wouldn't expect to see from Blumhouse, like the horror slot that we normally see from them. None of these kind of fit that category. So props to Blumhouse and Amazon Studios for kind of giving us quality here. Now, there are some gripes I have with them. We'll get to them just a little bit later. Of the 4, what I really enjoyed in the first 2 releases is they did Black Box and The Lie. Now, I enjoyed both of these releases. I thought they were very good.
Who's there? eat breakfast.
I'm fine.
I wasn't asking.
Black Box is very, very weird. It's almost like a weird episode of Black Mirror mixed with like Get Out in weird ways. It's an all-black cast. And that is definitely something I want to give high praise to Blumhouse and Amazon Studios. The casting in these movies, and I'm not sure if these movies were already previously made and Blumhouse picked them up, so I'm just stating that, but the fact that there's such a diverse in the casting or the casting and the stories in these, I loved it. Black Box, like I said, is all black cast. Evil Eye is majority is it's set in rituals, traditions. And so I just love the diversity in the casting of all these movies. And that is what essentially they are. They are movies. Don't let it be fooled that people are saying this is like a horror anthology. It's an anthology to a certain degree. None of these are connected. None of them. It's not like there's a host that comes out and says, "Welcome to Blumhouse. You know, here's our next story." It's just essentially 4 separate movies from up and coming directors. And it's just kind of under the Blumhouse, like house, you know, get it? Under the Blumhouse sort of name and releasing. So that's essentially that. Now, I enjoyed Black Box and The Lie. I really enjoyed The Lie. I don't know what it was about The Lie. I guess it just caught me off guard. Most of the reviews out there have been pretty subpar on The Lie, but I really enjoyed my time with that from start to finish. And then we had Nocturne and Evil Eye that were released.
We heard your news. Juilliard, congrats, that's incredible.
You're thinking of my sister V. She's going to Juilliard next year.
What makes Vivian the star?
Jules, I'll always be there for you.
And you, whatever you are.
Nocturne for me, the first go around, I got about halfway and then I fell asleep. It's that type of horror movie, just putting it out there. Well, it's not really horror. And that's a grander problem with this. None of these are really horror movies. They have horror elements in them. Sure. Can they be creepy at times? Sure. But they are not horror movies. And for Blumhouse to kind of do all this advertising to make it look like it's scary and we're going to release this in October, these movies could have been released anytime and it wouldn't make much difference because most of these are thrillers, they're drama, they're maybe psychological thrillers, but they're not really horror movies. And what I expected from this coming from an October release from Blumhouse, I expected a bit more, but I'm happy with what I got. If I had to rank all these, I have to say The Lie, I think, is my number 1. Black Box is my number 2. Nocturne is 3. And of course, like I said earlier, Evil Eye is my number 4. It's just not, it's not up there with the rest of these. As far as the story of it is very bland and it becomes repetitive, like 25, 30 minutes into the movie is repetitive, so repetitive. There's nothing shocking. There's nothing interesting that happens in Evil Eye. And it's a shame because I would have been down to kind of see type of horror movie or something to that degree. I've never watched anything, you know, dealing with that sort of subject matter. So it would have been interesting, but it's just kind of a bland story. And it definitely sticks out comparison to the other 3. So that's kind of a knock. But that is my thoughts on Welcome to Blumhouse. Would I like to see this come back? Sure. Do this next October. Get, 4 upcoming horror directors or people that are involved in sort of horror. Give us, some good quality horror stuff here. I don't want to see the same stuff that we've seen before. You know what I mean? Like, give us some good quality here, Blumhouse. You got a good idea here. I love that you're experimenting and trying new things out there as opposed to just doing the same old, and keeping with the same old, even though you've kind of been doing that.
Be careful. A lot of weirdos out here.
We are the weirdos, mister.
Ugh. But anyway, I like that you guys attempted something different here. Welcome to Blumhouse is now streaming on Amazon Prime. If you watched it, let me know what was your favorite down in the comments section. And thank you guys for watching. And I will see you on another video very, very soon. Peace out.